the last couple of weeks, I've spent time continuing to build relationships with teachers at my schools and my colleagues. And then sort of forged ahead into looking at that topic that is sometimes very fearful for us. That word that we often wonder about, and it is data. The funny thing about the word data is that we can't quite figure out how to pronounce it. Some people call it data, some people call it data. In the end, it doesn't particularly matter. But there's been a recurring theme that I have seen throughout this process, and that is data is only valuable when it's used to drive change. So we can spend a lot of time as educators collecting that data, looking at it, making sure we have numbers and scores and all of that information. But until we actually use it to change our practice or to make changes for our students, then it really doesn't mean anything. I think in my conversations with teachers about their data, we've been talking a lot about the process of triangulation. I will often bring up examples of what triangulated data could look like. There could be products, there could be observations, there could be conversations. And the key piece that I find so far teachers have identified that's missing from our data is the student voice in conversations. It's so valuable and important for our assessment to include a picture of that student. What I mean by picture, really that sense of who they are as readers. What do they enjoy reading? What interests them? What experiences are they bringing to a text? We need all that information, and that does not come from hearing them read. It often comes from conversations, just general questions. What do you like to read? What do you find hard? What do you find easy? And that can make all the difference in just that little edge for targeting our instruction and figuring out how to motivate and engage our students. So once we've identified what's missing, I felt like that's a very natural entry point for me as a coach to be able to go in and say, I can support that. I can come in and help collect those missing pieces to start by having conversations with students, recording them, and then sharing the results with the classroom teacher so that we can figure out the best way to support that student now that we have a fuller picture of their capabilities. From these data-driven conversations, the other interesting piece that has come up for me has been how we've identified the challenges of practice. I wasn't sure how that would look being an early reading coach because I wanted to move towards a collaborative inquiry process within my schools, but working specifically only with kindergarten and grade 1 teachers and looking at all the pieces that are involved in reading plus the vision of learning. I felt like what would be the best way to do that? And through these conversations, what has been evident is teachers have been able to clearly identify the challenges of practice. In fact, there have been commonalities between kindergarten and grade 1 teachers as to what those challenges are. And together we've been able to move towards some collaborative inquiry questions. I'm looking forward to continuing that process and looking more deeply into collaborative inquiry along with supporting students and teachers directly in the classrooms, and adding to that, looking at how we can build capacity, which I hope will be my next topic for confession number 3.